The Education Department is giving schools leeway to conduct online classes in anticipation of commute challenges brought by transport strike next week. The Social Welfare Department will be sending food packs to municipalities affected by the oil spill in Oriental Mindoro. Authorities are still trying to contain the spill, which has already reached several coastlines. And Pinoy gymnast Kaloy Yulo makes a stunning comeback after snagging the gold in floor exercise at the FIG Artistic Gymnastics World Cup in Qatar. Fast, focused, and fearless. Here's everything you need to know as you jumpstart your weekend. I'm Maricel Halili. We begin today's newscast with transportation agencies saying that they are ready for the impending week-long strike starting Monday. Meanwhile, the Education Department has decided not to suspend classes ahead of the strike. Marian Enriquez with a report.
As early as now, you may want to plan your trips ahead of next week to avoid additional hassle in commuting. Several transport groups are set to push through with a nationwide week-long strike beginning March 6. The MMDA says it's still coordinating with LGUs on whether to suspend the coding scheme, but what's for sure is they will provide free rides.
We'll just make them available na in case na merong mga mai-stranded na mga pasahero, we can immediately send augmentation buses or transportation means.
The LTFRB has since remained confident that it can fill the transport gap next week, especially since the so-called Magnificent Seven, the biggest transport groups in the country, won't be joining the strike. Meanwhile, the Transportation Department is still hoping to win over stakeholders that are against the modernization program. Transportation Chief Jaime Bautista said they are urging the LTFRB to relax the requirements to enable more drivers and operators to join. Meanwhile, the Education Department says that classes will continue next week despite the transport strike. DepEd said that students who could not attend physical classes should be allowed to join online. Some universities have already suspended face-to-face classes as a way to assist their students and faculty. But while most are busy preparing for the transport strike next week, one commuter group is already concerned about the possible fare increase that will result from the modernization program. The Group Para says minimum fares for modern jeepneys could go up to as much as 26 to 35 pesos.
Inevitable na mapupunta tayo sa ganong posisyon. No? Hindi lang dahil sa yun yung kailangang return of investment. Pero lalo na kapag yung mga malalaking corporations na yung nag-take over doon sa iba't ibang mga ruta ng jeepneys.
Discussions have yet to center on fares with the government and some jeepney operators still at a deadlock over the consolidation, the deadline for which has been extended to year-end. For News 5, Marian Enriquez, we are One News.
One transport official says that cooperatives can choose what kind of modern jeepney units to purchase as long as it follows modernization standards. Office of Transportation Cooperative Chairperson Andy Ortega made this clarification on the big story following concerns over the cost of modernizing PUVs. Modern jeepneys currently cost over 2 million pesos each, with each cooperative required to have at least 15 units in their fleet. The modernization program seeks to phase out units that are 15 years old or older and have them replaced with low-emission vehicles.
Hindi obligado na bumili ka ng hindi mo kan jeep. You could still sell a modern jeepney na mukhang jeep. So I'm sure eventually you will see the Sarao jeep running, modern jeepney. It will still happen because it is allowed.
Meanwhile, jeepney manufacturer Elmer Francisco told 1PH that there are several cheaper options for electric jeepneys. Other local manufacturers have also made prototypes of modern jeepneys which bear more resemblance to the traditional units.
Yes, actually dalawang class yun. So para dito sa size na to, meron tayong class 2 and class 3. Yung class 2, bench type pa rin siya, na magkaharap yung mga pasahero. Then, meron tayong tinatawag na class 3. Yung class 3 is yung mga upuan nakaharap na sa harap. Ganitong unit is nasa 1.8 million to 2 million.
In other news, the Social Welfare Department is set to distribute assistance to families in Oriental Mindoro following the oil spill from the capsized motor tanker Princess Empress. At least 6 municipalities have been affected by the spill. These are the municipalities of Nauan, Pola, Pinamalayan, Bongabong, Gloria, and Bansud. Families from these areas will receive food packs starting today. Meanwhile, the NDRRMC has since ordered the creation of a task force to monitor the oil spill's impact. We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Maricel Halili. Securities experts are backing a trilateral defense arrangement in the West Philippine Sea. A Japanese think tank noted the need for a multi-layer security and maritime policing mechanism between the Philippines, USA, and Japan. This is to counter tensions caused by China's continuous presence in the West Philippine Sea. A defense triad also encourages countries to commit to rules-based order in the Indo-Pacific region. More and more research indicate how COVID-19 can still leave traces of harm in the body months after infection. The details in this Bloomberg Quick Take.
Research published in the journal Nature shows the persistence of the SARS-CoV-2 virus in different parts of the body and brain months after initial symptom onset. The findings are based on autopsies of people who died with COVID-19 during the pandemic's first year.
The starting point was that SARS-CoV-2 is predominantly a respiratory virus, and that's where it infects and that's where all the damage is. Now the paradigm, I think, has to be that SARS-CoV-2 has the potential to infect cells and tissues throughout the body, including the brain. Yes, the predominant damage continues to appear to be in the lungs, but oh boy, we really need to better understand what type of damage is done in all these other places.
Dan's research could lead to greater understanding of long COVID and the evolution of virus variants.
Our findings firmly place a stake in the ground that say, man, we absolutely need to, in great detail, try to understand what, if any, role persistence of viral RNA, other viral components might play in long COVID.
Carlos Yulo won gold in floor exercise in the 15th FIG Gymnastics World Cup in Doha, Qatar on Friday. The former world champion jumped to the lead with 14.8 points at his pet event after qualifying second entering the finals. His routine featured a triple full side pass and closed with a 3.5 twist. This win is seen as a redemption for Yulo after he failed to make the finals in the same event in Germany last week. Yulo is set to compete in the parallel bars and vault finals later today. And those are the top stories of the hour. Join us later at 9 a.m. as we continue to monitor today's biggest stories. I'm Maricel Halili. We are One News.